to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 10th day of May. Got a great show on tonight. I know we've got a basketball game playing right now. I don't have a lot of faith in the Knicks. I don't even know what the score is. You hope they come out and play with a little bit of pride and dignity tonight. I know that they're down by 6 at the end of the first quarter at home to the Miami Heat. Now it's 5. Okay, well, we'll see. We shall see. I don't have a lot of faith in this team. I just believe that the Knicks have overachieved, and then you've got a team like the Heat that that has been in the finals just a few years ago, and they've won multiple playoff games prior to that. Big experience factor. So, anyways, as far as the other game, I wholeheartedly expect the Golden State Warriors not to go out tonight. I think they'll win this game tonight handily, and the question is whether or not Darvin Ham will pull the starters. If it's 20-something points at halftime, I would pull them, go ahead and close them out in Game 6. But we'll see how that plays out. It'll probably come on about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'll get to watch maybe a few minutes of it, but that'll be about it. Tonight, I've got Crean Blackston coming back to the program. I was real curious of what he thought on this Tennessee Titans draft and everything. But also J.J. Redick. I'll tell you why J.J. Redick has been rumored to becoming a head coach. We'll talk about that. Plus, trade talk with this Boston Celtics team. You know, just sports talk, not actual reports here. The All-NBA team came out today. Jaylen Brown is eligible for Supermax. So that's something, that's food for thought right there. That's food for thought. Definitely jump on that. But first, we'll go ahead and take our first and only break, get that out of the way, and we'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. I'll be back in 49 seconds. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty, then I'm back here live. Okay, now I'll say this, folks. As you all have heard me talk before on this program about the Boston Celtics, their loss the other day with this coach here, 34-year-old Joe Mazzulla. I just think that he's too young for this job. He's over his head. I said that before last night. Okay, last night you got a Game 5. You're on the road against a 50%, maybe 70% Joel Embiid. You're at home, to Joel Embiid, and you're down 15, 17, 18. I just could not, after I got off the program here last night, I'm hitting refresh on my phone, Carlos. I'm hitting refresh on my phone for last night's game, thinking that I actually, Corey, that I actually are misreading. I was taking some allergy medicine yesterday, that I was actually misreading the scoreboard. Then I realized that Boston's getting destroyed back there, and I'm just thinking, man, this team is so far over their head right now with this coach here. And now I'm starting to see that sentiment go around the web today. I mean, it's just for them not to show up like that in the pivotal Game 5. They are woefully outcoached. It's not even close now. It's I don't know. And some people are saying, well, Boston did come back last year, similar situation. Yeah, they got more talent. They're healthier. There's just no excuse to play like that, And now the discussion is coming up. You've got guys from Fox Sports like Colin Cowherd floating out ideas that maybe this is starting to look like a Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook situation there towards the end, where there's some tension there. I could kind of sense that too the other day. We mentioned, but guys not wanting to take shots. There's a lot of timidness going on, but between the two players here, and now today, Brown is now eligible for Supermax. He made All NBA, so it's a lot to be thought about. And he's also proposing now. Colin's this big Golden State guy. What's great for Golden State? So he comes up with this wild trade proposal, which is totally insane in the membrane. Let's see here we go. He says so the Warriors would trade. They would get the Celtics would get the Celtics would trade Jaylen Brown and Malcolm Brogdon for Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, a couple of average players and role guy of underwhelming Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, and then the Warriors would get Jaylen Brown and Malcolm Brogdon. Now that'd be great for Golden State, So, but I'm more of a realistic person. A year ago, I would have said this is not on the table for a team that went to Game 6 in the finals. Tatum is having a career year. He's averaging about let's get his stats actually. 30 points now. Just an absolute fantastic season here for Jason Tatum. He's having a career year. 30 points, 4 assists, and 8.8 rebounds this year. 25 years old, really playing good basketball here. But I'll say this, he is a little timid there. It does seem like that Brown is the better driver to the basket. Brown's a very flexible player as well. Jaylen Brown here. Now, he's 26. Both of these guys are very young here. 20, I want to say, I'll make sure I got his, 26 points off, actually. And 6.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists. So both of these guys are having absolute career years. But why isn't it not working? Well, it's the who wants to be the man at Jaylen or Tatum. Here's something that I think that would be good for both parties. You all know that I've actually brought this up a few weeks ago before the playoffs started, that maybe Luka Doncic should be moved from Dallas. And a lot of you scoffed at that and said that's crazy talk. And I said, wait a minute. You can get a lot for Doncic. But what you have now, not having you tried Kristaps Porzingis, that didn't work. You tried Goofy there, who Mr. Unreliable but talented. That didn't work, So now I'm thinking to myself, a change here could do both Tatum and a Luka Doncic a good. Kyrie, excuse me. Yeah, Kyrie's Irving slipped my mind because he's one of the most unreliable players in the world. So I'm thinking to myself, how about the Celtics just keep Jaylen Brown and Tatum? Now, listen, I just read you Tatum, 30 points a game, total career year, 25 years old, just turned 25, got plenty of good years left here. Then you look at 24-year-old Luka Doncic, who is averaging 32 points a game, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Yes, those are slightly better stats. You've got about $9 million difference there in salary between Tatum and Luka Doncic. So maybe you trade Jason Tatum for Luka Doncic, but you also bring over a Malcolm Brogdon. You'll have about $9 million left. Well, it's 20 something, but you have about $10 million left over. The Celtics sends four draft picks to Boston or to Dallas. Listen, Dallas don't have nothing going on right now. Dallas is not in the playoffs. Dallas tried the Kyrie Irving thing. That didn't work. Tatum is a very coachable guy. He fit in any environment. He can be used at a different environment. So let's go back to this again. You're pretty close in money, about $9 million more for Doncic's contract. So I know these contracts have to match up. So you would send Tatum and Brogdon and 4 first-round draft picks to Dallas. Okay, you say, well, and then you have, so you put Doncic there and a Jaylen Brown. There's no question Doncic is better than Brown. I think Brown would roll with that. You got more of an inside scorer, more of a post-up guy. I think that would work. You say, well, what do you think? What about Dallas getting ripped up? I just read how close their stats actually are together. We're 2 points difference there and a points per game here. And you're getting the sixth man of the year. You're getting 4 draft picks. So if you're Dallas, you can leverage, if you wanted to move Brogdon in those 4 picks and get a better player, get like a B player, and put him with the Jason Tatum, I think that would work out. And, of course, Luka with Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, they're thinking championship. Both players have a new scenery, and you've got some opportunity there for a Dallas team to get a player just almost very close to a Luka Doncic. He's very close. If you look at some of his precision, as he's been, I remember Corey was telling me he had the highest plus minus in the entire league at one point this year. And Jason Tatum was also sought to be a MVP front-runner candidate at the start of the year. The longer you stay with the worst coaching, the worse off your play is going to be. So for those of you say, Dallas, that's crazy, you look a little bit deeper into the stats. They're very close in age. They're very close in salary. They're very close in stats. Both can use a new location. Now, obviously, they still got one more game to go. But you look at this Tatum Brown experiment. It's went several years now. You kind of hit a pinnacle here. You got both players in your prime. Now, you trade one or the other. But I was thinking you can get higher value back for Tatum. For Tatum, who is consistently going up every year in his production as his confidence grows. He would be working with the Jason Kidd down there in Dallas. And then that would give him an opportunity to give them some draft leverage and a player to be, remember they drafted, they got rid of a lot of their bench players in that Kyrie Irving debacle. So this is not a big drop off. And I think it would help both parties. Now, I know y'all think that's crazy, but hey, listen, what's working right? What is here right now? It really ain't working. I'm not saying do it, but I am saying you put this on the table. You put trading Luka on the. I put a trading Luka on the table back in April when the season was ending. Now I'm putting trading maybe a Tatum or Brown. Nobody's mentioned trading Tatum, but I do see a scenario where those are very close in age and talent level. I don't think anybody is getting ran out. Yeah, and Carlos even said Luka for Tatum. That would change the team all the way around. Yeah, so you're back, and you know if things don't quite work out, you can do some bench players to work out the salaries. It's not that hard if you've got 2 determined general managers to get a deal done in the NBA. I know it's a lot harder. NFL, it's boom, boom. You cut a player, make sure you don't have too much dead money. But the NBA, yes, you have to match up salaries. And, of course, it is what it is. Carlos says Luka will be better on a Charlotte or teams that have young talent. Well, yeah, But Luka also, and then go out, and then if you're a if you're a Boston Celtics, you got to get a new coach. Go out and get a Nick Nurse or somebody. Okay, and he's just the guy I'm throwing out there. Go out and get a seasoned head coach. So, also in the news today, I don't want to go on too much about that. JJ Redick. JJ Redick, speaking of Nick Nurse, his former team, according to Adrian Wojciechowski, he has been rumored to be a candidate with no experience, which kills me, but that's how these teams work. He's been rumored to be a candidate for the Toronto Raptors job. 15-year NBA veteran Adrian Wojciechowski and ESPN analyst JJ Redick have interviewed for the Toronto Raptors coaching job. Sources tell ESPN Redick was part of the first round of candidates to meet with franchise leadership. You say, why? Well, yeah, he's a talking head on ESPN. They see he's pretty knowledgeable. The guy played at Duke, 15 years in the NBA, outspoken. I tell you what, I tell you why they want to interview him. This is why, because a lot of it is guys are real timid to talk to the players. The players could be intimidating. And that's one of the reasons why, well, I've also read that maybe Ty Lue may not work out. He may want to just get out of that Clippers deal. Ty Lue would be a candidate. Why do people like Ty Lue? Because Ty Lue tells guys like LeBron, go back there and get on defense, man. Go back and get on defense. He did do a good job. They had Phoenix on the ropes before Kawhi got hurt, without Paul George. Ty Lue's a good coach. But my whole point was, Redick is not what management saw is Kendrick Perkins and Redick kind of having a dispute back and forth here a few I don't know, about a month ago, probably. It was for the season end. We're talking about the MVP. And Kendrick Perkins, one of these guys, he likes to get a hot take going, and ESPN, they love to play that race card because it gets trending on Twitter, and whether it's true or not, just say it. So listen to what Kendrick Perkins, he didn't think that he's 6'11", he's big. He think he could just intimidate a guy like JJ Redick. And I thought so too. I thought nobody'd say anything. I thought he would be like that other clown that used to work with Stephen A. Smith, that young guy, the boxing analyst that just says any kind of nonsense that ESPN will come, he won't push back. I looked up, and JJ Redick's from Cookeville, which is here in Middle Tennessee, and hey, he's pretty bold. He won some respect points from me. Listen up to this ridiculous implication by the genius known as Kendrick Perkins. I kind of feel sorry for him at first, but now I realize, hey, look, man. If you don't got something smart to say, don't try to just play this card right here, But that's what he likes to do because he feels like everybody else has kind of went their role, and he knows, like Stephen A. Smith likes to do sometimes when he don't have a good argument, he'll just throw something out there, see if it sticks, it'll get trending, and then you get viewers up. So it's all a game, and that's fine. But I'm hip to it. Here's Kendrick Perkins on why Joker shouldn't get the third MVP. He questions the MVP voting process. I want to say this is 4:15 here.
For a reason. And so when I look at JJ and I hear him talk, because he's so big in analytics and he's a historian when it comes down to diving in deep and going back into history and talking about the evolution of the game, why didn't he never bring up this in particular subject? When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring. Do you know who those 3 guys were?
Who are they?
Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. No.
Dirk Nowitzki.
What do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it. Now here's the thing.
Okay, so So he and Reddick had such a great comeback. I actually felt sorry for. Part of me feels sorry for people who try too hard. So I felt a little sorry for Kendrick. Reddick dunked on him so bad that I kind of felt sorry for Kendrick 6'11", Kendrick Perkins, because I'm a nice elfin guy. But listen to JJ Reddick's response. This is a longer response because it's more
we're visible. The wireless company who thinks
more analytical driven, No Reddick, so listen to Reddick's response to that.
One line with unlimited data. Now, just
of course, we got to listen to this commercial. I'm getting this off YouTube. Go figure.
Don't miss out.
All right, here we go. If I can get it going here without listening to 50,000 commercials, folks.
It's transferable college credit. Getting you.
Hey, Kevin. Good luck.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize to Perk because I know that he doesn't like advanced stats, but often advanced stats inform us. They provide insight. They often reinforce what we see. So they kind of complement the eye test. I know you're an eye test guy.
So longer skit. Listen up.
I might use
JJ Reddick.
I just want to react because I didn't hear this. The idea that his teammates shoot good or bad shots. So Second Spectrum, wonderful company. They installed tracking cameras in every arena 10 years ago. And their technology has evolved. And one thing we've learned from that is we can actually track which players create good shots for their teammates. And Nikola Jokic is top 5 in shot quality created. So if you watch them play, Perk, and I know you do, sometimes you might not stay up late on the Mountain Time Zone, but if you watch them play, when he's deciding whether or not to shoot or score, he's often making a read, because that's what good basketball players do. They make reads. So if he's getting a double, he's going to kick. If he sees the help coming too early, he's going to swing it to the corner. It's a good pass. What's the most efficient corner 3 in basketball? It's a corner 3. Look, Perk, I want to touch on something that they didn't bring up. This idea that Dirk and Steve Nash were favored to win the MVP because they're white. First of all, you stop short at 1990. That was your cutoff point for players to win MVP, not in the top 10 in points per game, which is a stupid stat to judge MVP on. This isn't middle school. 1990, Magic won it. 89, Magic won it. 87, Magic won it. 87, he was 10th. 89, he was 15th. 90, he was 18th. Okay. We judge MVP year to year. You also said the criteria or the goalposts change year to year for certain players. No, it doesn't. We vote on the MVP. Hold on. We vote on the MVP based on that season. We vote on the MVP based on that season. It is a regular season award. Previous playoff runs have nothing to do with it. It's a regular season award for the most valuable player. Dirk Nowitzki led the league in win shares in both 06 and 07. Led the league in offensive win shares in both 06 and 07. So, yeah, he wasn't top 5 or whatever he was, top 10 in scoring his MVP season. The Dallas Mavericks were 67 and 15. They had the best record in the NBA. In 05, Steve Nash was the driver of the number 1 offense in the league, a team that jumped 20 wins and had the best record in the NBA. In 06 to me is one of the weirdest MVP seasons ever. You can make an argument Nash probably shouldn't have won it, but he was still the driver of the number 1 offense in the league. The 2 best teams that year, the Detroit Pistons, 64 wins, the San Antonio Spurs, 63 wins. Guess what? They didn't have a top, their top scorers weren't in the top 20 in the NBA that year. So that was just a strange shit. You could have given it to Kobe. You could have given it to Shaq. You could have given it to Tim Duncan. They gave it to Steve Nash. It's not because he was white.
It was just a strength.
It was just, I'm just an idiot. And I was hoping I could get you with a race bait, but you just dumped on me like nobody's business. So that kind of confrontation from JJ Reddick to a 6'11" Kendrick Perkins, that's why Toronto wants him. Now, me personally, I think that, get some experience, man. Get some experience. I'm not a big fan of hiring guys just let him be a assistant for 4 or 5 years. But that right there, because players like to intimidate people. They like to intimidate, use your size, intimidate players. It's a players' league and yada, yada, yada. And Redick wasn't going to hear that. Just like Ty Lue wasn't going to hear it from LeBron and have him go back and get on defense. And they played better. And you see what Ime's a guy, he got in players' rear ends, So that's why he got interviewed, and that's why that they may consider him for the job, because he's not intimidated by people like Kendrick Perkins. But I love that. Yeah, kudos to Jay. And I didn't even want to play that at the time because I thought it's just nonsense. I mean, it's he's at ESPN. He felt like he was in a comfort zone of doing it. He's used to Stephen A. throwing nonsense out there like that. He sees it trending on Twitter. He figures, hey, man, I'll keep my job if I go, use that, race card and all that stuff. And it's one of the reasons why that between that and some of the crap that Disney has pulled as a company, other than core company, that's why they've been losing jobs. They put up with that crap. But kudos to JJ for that. We'll see what happens. Other than that, again, waiting on my guest to be here in just a few minutes. Kareem Blackston. And I'm curious. I haven't talked to Kareem in a few weeks here. Oh, in other news, Ja Morant failed to make All-NBA team. He'll be eligible for Supermax. Well, hey, he missed too many games. My deal is there. So, and Jaylen Brown he is eligible. So going back to that, hey, you put everything on the table, whether you trade Brown or you trade Tatum. Maybe that doesn't get done. Maybe you get the right coach in here next year, win or lose, and run it back. But I would try to go after Luka. I would try to go after a Luka and work out something. Maybe you can work out something with Minnesota. But I just feel like Luka's not doing anything there in Dallas. And you kind of seeing that they're just coming up short here in Boston. I'm not sure if they're even going to make the finals. From what happened last night, the odds changed. The 76ers now are favored to go in the East now to the finals. I mean, you see how banged up Miami is. Miami's probably going to make it. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to make it. And as far as the Knicks are concerned, listen, folks, the Knicks need another player. They need some flexibility offensively, scheme-wise. That's some things they're going to have to address. They did win a round. They did win a round in the playoffs, so it wasn't a total loss for the New York Knicks. And I would try not to fire Thibodeau. I do think they have a good culture up there. Maybe Carlos and I talked about this last Friday. Maybe they go after Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks averaged 18 points a game. He likes to get physical. He likes to play defense. He's got multiple years of playoff experience. This is still a extremely young team, other than Derrick Rose, who's apparently in Coach Thibodeau's doghouse now. But, yeah, a guy like a Dillon Brooks, 27 years old, that would add another layer of toughness, and it would take some heat off of Randall. Or maybe you move Randall. I think putting that on, and Stephen A. Smith mentioned that himself, the possibility of moving Randall. Didn't think that was a good idea a couple of years ago, but this is the second playoff series, but he is way up and down. Even Pickles thinks that Dillon Brooks would be a perfect fit for the Knicks here. The coach is going to respond. Brooks is going to respond to the coach. Even Draymond Green likes the Knicks. Of course, Draymond Green is long in the tooth here. So this idea, if you listen to sports people like Jason McIntyre, they actually don't think that Thibodeau is a player's coach. But from what I hear, that, Draymond Green's got a lot of respect for Thibodeau. And now I heard something yesterday, totally opposite of what I read a few months ago and mentioned it to you, that Karl Anthony Towns was not a fan of Thibodeau. Now I'm hearing that maybe he would like to go to the Knicks, the Minnesota's Karl Anthony Towns. Thibodeau's that guy that makes you get something out of your, pull something within yourself that you didn't think you had. Remember, he was a defensive core. He was on that staff there that won the championship with Doc Rivers with that Boston team too. So he's not a terrible coach, but I do think he should get another assistant to help with some offensive schemes there. And quite frankly, if they did change coaches, I just wouldn't go with somebody totally opposite of Thibodeau. Don't go with a Mike D'Antoni. Don't not go with the Mike D'Antoni. I hope Kareem can make it. Let's see what he has not. He did email me back and said he was coming, so I'll just wait to see. I'll just wait to see when he pops up there. He popped up last time. We didn't have any issues. I told him to come in. At 30 minutes past the hour. But hey, listen, all you can ask for is to be competitive. I mean, there's only so many stars in the NBA. A lot of it is, and the Knicks are up. They're up by 3. Okay. They're up by 3. And let's see what Randall doing. 6 points, 18 for Brunson. Now Barrett's got 10. Grimes shooting the ball better. He's already got 8 points in the second half. So they're getting pretty close to halftime. You would like to see them push it to 6. You would like to see the Knicks, go out with a bang. Again, when I first saw this series, I thought I was really down on the Knicks. Then I got to thinking there's only 3 games difference between the regular season wins with Miami and the New York Knicks. We know Miami's got a boatload. Pickle said they're putting up a fight there. I'm looking at the box score. You're seeing the actual game. A lot of talent there. They've got a culture there. You look at a Pat Riley. I mentioned this before. Shaq and Pat Riley did not get along because Pat Riley's got what do you call it? Curfews and stuff. I mean, he is really strict. You look at a guy like Hassan Whiteside. Pat Riley rode that guy in the ground. And he finally got him squared away. He wanted to get away from there. But something, when he went to, I want to say he went to like Portland or something, you would think he would shine. No, he didn't shine. Some players need that coaching. I say Pat Riley because Riley's voice is all over. I mean, it's coming through Spoelstra, but Riley's voice is behind him. And, of course, the ownership there has got Riley's back. So they got a good structure there. They're another team. They're a rich man's New York Knicks team. They have scoring droughts. They have scoring droughts. And I've mentioned this before, both of those teams could use a Trae Young. Now, if the Knicks got a Trae Young would have to make it clear that he is to play off the ball, not to be a primary ball handler. That's already going to Jalen Brunson. And Kareem, I see him popped up there. Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Hey, you know what? I've been wanting to talk to you ever since that Thursday night when the Tennessee Titans selected our guy. See, Kareem knows I've run into him at work all the time, and I say, man, I sure wish Tennessee get that tackle out of Northwestern. What do you know, man? It's Christmas in April. What do you think about this draft?
It depends on where he's going to play.
Yeah.
If he plays guard, I would say that was a bad pick.
Yeah, he's flexible, and they've got him listed as guard, but they haven't started hitting yet. They don't know. The Titans don't know. They'll have to let this I've got the roster right here, the depth chart in air quotes. Andre Dillard is still listed as the tackle, and Peter Skorowski is left guard. Now, this guy played left tackle. He played right. He played all over the line. Very good run blocker at Northwestern. More flexible than Paris Johnson. The true left tackle ended up going 3rd overall to Arizona. So, we'll see how that plays out. But he was considered the best all-around lineman in the draft. And, you had a guy like Daniel Brunskill with them and that Nicholas Petit-Free. I mean, that guy played right tackle all year. I didn't hear anything come up about him getting replaced, by the way. The Ohio State 3rd-round pick from last year. So apparently the Titans like Pruitt-Free, the right tackle that they got last year in the 3rd round out of Ohio State.
Right. But
Yeah.
I'm still concerned about the center position.
Okay, well, Brewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Brewer. Now he did play he played guard last year, right?
Right. They're moving him over to center. He's still undersized.
Okay.
Probably for that position too. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either.
So what do you think about Will Levis, man? They got him in the 2nd round.
I think I didn't mind the pick.
Okay.
And I know they were trying to trade up to get him in the first round so they can have the another year of his rookie deal.
Okay.
I think the 11th when he picked the 11th the tackle or the guard, if they move him over to guard, it might end up being a bad pick if he's going to play guard because they said his arms are too short.
Yeah. The guy that the Bears picked ahead of him, they said his arms are short too, Darrell Wright. But his footwork's great.
Right. And they paid a guy to play tackle.
Yeah.
So more than likely he's going to play guard. Now can he shift to tackle when that guy's contract is up? That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But like I said, everything depends how the season plays out. The total offensive line is still iffy because there's nobody on the offensive line with experience.
Yeah. Well, Brewer's very limited experience. That is true. Well, yeah, Dillard. Oh, it could be a disaster. I mean, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
There's no leadership on the line.
Yeah. Would you think that would they bring back a Taylor Lewan as a backup, maybe?
No, I don't think he wants to back up anyone. I think he still wants to play. I would maybe consider bringing in a veteran center.
Okay.
To back up.
Even possibly. Pickles, he agrees with you. He typed that down. Need to find a solid center.
Yeah.
So I want to see who else. Okay, so they took Levis in the 2nd round. They took Tajay. Now Spears. Now a lot of people saying, well, he didn't play with an ACL. I had a guest on yesterday, Rich Ferris. He says, Frank Gore didn't play with ACL.
Right. It's still for what you need. I get what they were doing. They picked the best player available. I get that. They needed a wide receiver, but at that point, I knew you were going to say that. At that point, if that was the best player available, then so be it. I mean, you can't just pick any wide receiver and say, okay, now we got a receiver. If he was the best player available, he was the best player available. So I'm okay with that too, man. I just think the beginning of the draft, they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and it went downhill after that.
How so? How they shoot themselves?
So they tried to trade up for the quarterback, which they didn't get.
Right.
So they ended up keeping the pick, drafting this left tackle / guard. Like I said, if he's playing guard, like I said, you paid somebody to play left tackle, so you're paying him to play guard at the 11th pick, which is way too high to pick a guard. You could have got a guard later in the rounds, and if you had used that pick actually to draft the quarterback at 11, you could have in the 2nd round you could have went for a wide receiver, which I was thinking Mingo.
Oh, okay. Did he go to Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those Ole Miss guys, they've been turning them out. AJ Brown. the guy from Seattle.
Right. So the way I was looking, draft your quarterback in the 11th pick in the draft, go for wide receiver, second round, third round, you draft your guard.
Yeah. That would make sense. Now, Levis, a lot of people, I feel like the expectations are so low for Levis, man. For here locally in Nashville, the people I've talked to, that this guy, any kind of success is going to be Saul's good because people got low expectations. But, there's some comparisons, and maybe he was Jay Cutler, high end, maybe Josh Allen, low end, Carson Wentz, which is now Carson Wentz. That would be terrible. But a lot of consensus say Jay Cutler. Well, Jay Cutler won playoff games, He wasn't terrible, like a total bust, man, Well,
here's the thing. I think the fan base wants the Titans to throw the ball around the field.
Yeah.
That's what they want. It's not going to happen with this coach.
No. He's physical. He wants to run the ball.
Right. If you like the coach, you're going to have to know the coach's idealistic
personality,
way he wants to run things. So if you come to grips with that, you'll understand why he's not going to. I don't care if he has probably Aaron Rodgers back there. He's not going to throw the ball around the field.
I love the guy. I think they can win with Vrabel, man. I mean, you look at. We talked about this before. You've talked about it. The guy's coached like 65 games. Tennessee's been in the playoff run every game he's coached. Every game. Right.
Now
all the way up to the very end.
That I don't care about. I want championships. I don't care about the winning the season, the league, or I'm sorry, the division. Don't care about that stuff. Championships are bust to me. But and I understand there's levels to the game, but being consistent 9-10, 10-9, or 10-7 every year, I'm sleeping on that. That's just that's not good enough.
Do you think they're going to cut a player to make cap room for this class or anything like that? Do you think there's going to be anything drastic done before the season starts?
Possibly Tannehill.
Okay.
Tannehill gets cut after June 1st. They lose. They get his money off the cap.
Yeah.
And you get Levis the experience that he needs. So probably more likely Tannehill.
Oh wow. Yeah. Man, if they cut him after June 1st, that would be something. Now, they would save a big chunk of money doing that.
Right.
But that would be writing this next season off, totally throwing in a Levis. Who would you like to see sit,
I would like to see him sit. I think it'd be better for the team, but it depends on what you believe in. Some people believe get him out there, get him the experience, count on next year, and then you're rolling.
Yeah.
I also think that was the wide receiver situation. Next year they were playing on wide receiver next year because there really weren't any standouts at wide receiver in the draft this year.
For where they were picking at. Now, this guy, Colton, they did take a guy in the 7th round. And, the draft used to have, I want to say, like 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Back in 1993. And then between 93 and 94. 93, it went to 8. Then 94, it went back to 7. It used to be like 12 rounds. So this guy that they got in a 7th round out of UT Martin or whatever, local guy, he had 100 yards receiving against University of Tennessee. Colton, let me make sure I got his name right. Colton DeWell, 6'3", runs a 4.40. He went to that small school, and you think about a guy like Cal Phillips. You talk about Phillips. You've liked Racy McRalph. I think that they didn't do that because they're seeing something in these young guys. And they also got another tight end, man. And I heard this guy was really tall, too. A good red zone. This tight end from Cincinnati, Josh Wally.
Yeah, he can play fullback, too.
Yeah.
So and this is basically understanding Vrabel.
Yeah.
He wants big wide receivers because they can block.
Well, you got to be able to block upfield. That was
Exactly. So you're not going to get your I don't know
quick twitch guys.
Yeah, your quick twitch guys. Who's the guy on Cincinnati?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. You're not going to get those guys.
Yeah.
Right. He wants guys that can block. So that's why you have your receiving mass. The guy you drafted this year, all 6'3".
Yeah, he's a big guy, man. Yeah.
Right. All these guys are big outside the slot receiver. So that's Vrabel.
Yeah, but I think the offensive line was so bad. This has to be an improvement from that. They're going to run the ball.
You can't get any worse.
Right. Yeah, 32nd. I mean, they would just stay at 32nd, Kareem.
Can't get worse.
At the very end.
If that's the positivity you want to look at it, you can only go up.
Yeah. And well, I mean, think about this, man. I mean, this team, they were pretty close towards the top at stopping a run. Remember, they had Landry there. He got hurt early. It was a lot of the secondary. You never race it. What's this guy, McQuarrie? You see this McQuarrie, first-year guy out of – you said you liked him too at corner. He's the let me make sure I got his name. Roger McQuarrie from Auburn. He was the first-year cornerback there. And you got Fulton. Now, Fulton hurt a lot. They've moved Caleb Farley up to second string. Now, I don't know if that's coincidence. Farley was third string at one time. So you don't know if these guys may take another step, man, and become more mature and play out. Sorry about that. My screen's acting up.
I don't see Farley actually on he doesn't exist right now. So until he proves me wrong, he doesn't exist right now. He's basically they kind of told you last year when they benched him he was unplayable. Yeah. So until he proves me wrong this year, the cornerback is a big problem on this team.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I do like Fulton. You know, I like Fulton. And remember, they signed Sean Murphy Bunton out of Tampa.
Right.
They signed him as a free agent there. So, you know, I mean, you got Jeffrey Simmons. He got an extension a few weeks ago. So, and you got Tier Tart. I'm just looking at the roster as we speak. This is the roster. I've got the depth chart about 20 minutes before we came on here. Dino Autry, one of your favorites, one of my guys. He's an unspoken hero for this team defensively. I mean, they still got a good front seven, man. They do. It's, like I said, it's the back end that you have to worry about. Now you have two veteran. You do have two veteran. Hooker and Byard. Yeah, Hooker and Byard back there. Yeah. So you have those, but like I said, the quarter situation it's in dire straits right now, considering who can stay healthy and who can't stay healthy. Yeah. Well, you know, Kansas City, they had a rookie corner last year. You know, right? He got roasted a couple of times, but they stayed alive. I mean, they won the Super Bowl, so it's not the end of the world. I want to have good corners. Maybe they keep Byard. Maybe Byard's that guy they let go. Well, you also have what's the kid they drafted 2 years ago? Hooker. That plays the nickel. Let's see. Let me see. Chris Jackson, maybe? No. That I'm only 3 deep at corner. I don't know if he would be under safety or not. Mike Brown, Josh Thompson. Oh well. That's too low on the depth chart. He played the nickel before McCurry got there. I couldn't. I can't remember his name, but he should be back healthy this year. Okay. You like him? Intermediate routes, yes. If he gets someone goes stretch the field on him, he's a lame duck. Oh wow, wow. But he's a football player. He's a good football player. Yeah.
He lacks speed, but he's a good football player, and they like him. So, yeah.
What do you think
like
about Monty Rice? Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah, linebacker.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on him?
He didn't play enough last year.
Okay.
So it's hard to get a read on him.
And this guy named Al Shazier?
Oh, that's the guy they picked up this year.
Okay.
Good pass rusher. Yeah. He's going to probably take Landry's spot till Landry gets healthy.
Okay. And of course they're supposed to have Landry back. So I mean, the truth be told, if this line is better, Elijah Moden, Rich was talking about Moden. Rich was on yesterday. He works with Cumulus and got some connections with the team. I mean, this team can legitimately compete in this division if you really think about it. If they keep this roster the way it is and don't cut Tannehill. Remember, this team was a 1 seed 2 years ago, so it's not like they're total garbage, No,
this team can make the playoffs if, I would say, by mid-season, the offensive line can come together.
Yeah.
If they can stay 500 around towards the middle of the season, and then the offensive line can come together. Like I said, they can't do no worse than what they did last year as far as the offensive line is concerned.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they can 500 middle of the season and then start peaking at the right time, then they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that good enough? I don't know.
Right. And Rich was on yesterday. He was talking about they're going to get
Elijah Moden. That's who it is.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Moden's not bad. Hooker's not bad. So the safety play is going to be good for this team. The more you really analyze it, man. I think we'll know early. You know
if they keep Byard.
Oh yeah, that's a big if. Byard could be that one. You're right. I'm like you. Come June 1st, Rich, and Rich was talking about that too because they need more money to sign these players. I'm just curious who may get cut. Maybe it's Henry. And that's right, Carlos. It could very well be Henry because you've got this guy that they just picked up here.
Well, you can't.
Tajay Spears. Haskins is considered the third string running back.
If you can't cut both, you can't. You either got to keep Henry or keep Tannehill. Can't do both. Right. Because if you cut Tannehill, you got to keep Henry because it takes the pressure off of Levis.
Yeah, Henry has a presence, and he's still. I think it would be foolish to cut Henry. If I had to pick one, it probably would be the safety.
Right.
Even though safeties and linebackers, you can survive. Pass rushers, middle guys, Jeffrey Simmons. I'm so glad they got him squared away.
I think they should consider moving Farley over to safety. To safety.
Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete, man.
Yeah,
tackle. So I mean, Carlos, 2 seasons. Yeah, Carlos he's hardcore, man. He's from New York, man.
Here's the thing. Everybody can't have a Aaron Rodgers.
That's
Tom
true,
Brady.
right?
It's just the way it is. So you have what you have. You have to be happy with what you have. Can't have every team can't have a Tom Brady.
Right. You're upset because they don't have enough receivers, right?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like I said, I understand Vrabel.
Okay.
He doesn't like John Robinson didn't worry about the offensive line.
Yeah.
Vrabel is not too concerned with the receivers.
So are you still in on Vrabel or are you out on Vrabel?
No, I'm still in on Vrabel.
Okay. I was just making sure because you sound like man, I might be out on Vrabel.
No, I understand them.
Okay.
Well, I think I understand them.
I think they can win with Vrabel, man. I just think he and I'm not a big defense. I'm like you. I want my team to be physical, but I also want a team that's not too mule-headed and doesn't take care of the quarterback. Defensive-minded head coaches, they tend to they don't want to take care of the quarterback. They want to go all defense, all the time, and they don't want to take care of the quarterback. When, an offensive coaches, like, for example, Jordan Addison, the wide receiver, was drafted when Minnesota was 31st in defense last year. They took a receiver in the first. That's the O'Donnell or whatever his name is. That's his offensive-minded coach way of thinking instead of going out and getting a tackle or a cornerback. Go figure.
Well, you can't say that about Vrabel because they drafted all offensive players this year.
Right. I like, Carthon. Now, remember Carthon, he drafted, he was a big part of drafting Kittle in that 5th round. So,
Yeah. The tight ends, that's a big if right now, I would say. You're relying on a second-year player and who else they pick up, I guess, in the offseason, and I'm not going to count the rookie yet. So,
yeah, Josh Wiley's considered second. Owonkwo, I love that guy. I think he's going to be great next year.
Yeah,
they're
going to be relying on. He's basically their second receiver right now.
Yeah, and you said you tell me you did like Cal Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Until he got hurt. Now he did one fumble, but everybody has that.
Two consecutive fumbles on a kickoff return.
Yeah, he tried to do. And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, he's like the little engine that could. He's Rudolph, man. He's hanging in there.
He's a 3rd or 4th wide receiver on a decent team.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it, man. And they signed Chris Moore here, so and this Colton Dewell, this guy could be a monster, and nobody knows about. He could be a diamond in the rough. I've watched some of his film. I'm like, man, I looked him up on YouTube. He's pretty good, And then again, he may be a special teams guy. Who knows?
That's where Vrabel likes to test them out at.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like you. If that line blocks, I think they're right there now. Right, if I had to pick it today, I would probably pick Jacksonville first. I would pick Tennessee second in this division. What do you think about the South as a whole? The draft concern, the AFC South.
Like you said, Jacksonville probably number 1, Tennessee number 2. You can't. The other 2 teams have rookie quarterbacks, so
yeah. Okay.
Unless Minshew is going to start for the Colts.
Yeah, that's true.
Then you might have a problem.
They got a pretty good offensive line, right. I would say.
Well, they have on paper. They didn't play that way on in reality.
Well, yeah, they had a player that was behind that. You never know what that owner is going to demand. He's nuts, man. Jim Irsay up there. So
they do have better receivers than the Titans, though.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Because they do have one guy that's more proven. I can't remember his name, but he does seem to be more proven right now than the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans have one receiver who they don't know if it's a number 1 or number 2, and the rest of them are basically borderline practice squad players.
Yeah. Now, Carlos is from New York. Me and him went to college together here in Tennessee. He moved back to New York. He has a soft spot for the Titans. He thinks if Levis plays, Tennessee will still come in second. I don't know about that, man. It's a coin toss if Levis starts. Don't you think?
Now, what is he saying is if Tannehill starts, they're going to come in
Michael
first?
Pittman. That's who I was thinking. Yeah, Pittman's really good, Pickles. Yeah, I think he's too optimistic. If he's too optimistic, I think if Levis plays.
Oh yeah. He's still a rookie.
Because Tennessee may be 3rd or 4th if Levis starts.
Yeah, we all get excited about the new girlfriend. That's
right. Everybody likes the backup quarterback, right? Well, man, I hope all is well. Hey, listen. Definitely come back on the program if something big happens, particularly around June. You're right, around June 1st, you and Rich. If something happens, man, I hope you come back. We'll have to analyze this thing.
Oh, definitely. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. All right, man. And thanks, everybody. Appreciate it, Kareem. Stay in touch, man.
Oh, I sure will. Thank you. You too.
All right, buddy. See ya. All right, everybody. I want to thank you all tonight. I will be back on tomorrow with John Restano. We'll talk about the Bears and we'll talk about the Bills. I'll get his thoughts on the playoffs and more. I'm going to get off here and watch the rest of this Knicks game or possibly their season, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place here on